Alright, welcome back everyone to the W&W Pokemon Draft League, where we're here with another semifinal match between West Texas Wingulls and the Toronto Trick Roomers. I am Ollie Sheikh, or Hipsterbrownkid, joined here by my co-caster.
Parker. People like to call me Daddy, head coach of the Memphis Meme Champ.
They really do like to call him that.
They do.
We've got a fun little matchup here. Always been a fun one to watch throughout the history of the Draft League. And these are usually the teams you see in the grand finals of the league, but only one of them's going to make it this time.
Yeah, and this is a good historic matchup. We've seen these two square off. I mean, they're two of the founders, so plenty of history between them. Like you're saying, no surprise to see them both in the quarterfinals, but typically we see one or both of them in the finals. So interesting that they're matched up in the semis. Only one of them can make it.
Yeah, and to see how these teams got here, why don't you take us over the bracket, Parker?
All right. Well, looking at the bracket, the first matchup on top, we had Chapel Hill and Queen City square off. Queen City played pretty well, but Chapel Hill won that one. Right below them, West Texas Wingles versus Memphis. The Memphis coach unfortunately forgot a tier two Pokemon, actually. And so we faced off in the Metronome battle. No luck for Memphis. Tough loss. Looking at below that, TTR versus Nashville Nine Tails. I mean, you were part of that matchup. Chris seemed to have a very good game plan going on there. So interested to see if he decides to switch it up or do what he did last time. And then lastly, Charlotte Charizards versus JCJ. Charlotte took that one. And then moving forward in the bracket today, West Texas versus TTR above Chapel Hill versus Charlotte.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride to get where we are, and we're just in the final couple of matches of season 10.
Yeah, it's been a good one. I love the Terra type. I think it switched up the dynamic and it was fun to see how everyone adjusted and learned as the season went for sure.
Absolutely. Let's take a closer look at the teams playing today. So we've got the West Texas Wingulls, coached by Caleb the C Gull Gulley. Had a very dominant season, finishing first in his division and second overall in the league. And we look down here at the bottom, there's a lot of blue down there, only
A lot of
dropping two matches over the course of the season. And that was to the Toronto Trick Roomers, their opponent today.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. A very dominant season, I'd say. In the Week 10 loss, that was when the Seagull had his newborn baby pick the team. But the Week 5 loss, that was real prep. And that's the only game he dropped prior to Week 10. So it'll be interesting. The only thing that could really stop the West Texas train happened to be the TTR.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully for today's team, we're not seeing a child prep it, but we'll see what happens this time.
You never know. You never know. Um, and
So,
then yeah, if we look at the Pokemon stats here, I mean, most played being the Dragapult. We saw him show up time and time again, but I think the big game changer on this team was the Armor Rouge. It's very versatile. Obviously, most KOs, best KD on the team. But what sticks out to you with this whole roster and then also the keys to success?
so we see a lot of strong pieces that Caleb seemed to have gotten from a lot of mid-draft trading, getting his picks around, trying to build the most successful roster for himself. And we can see that with a very powerful duo between Armarouge and Ndidi, which has taken over ladder play, obviously, and still showing that strength in a draft league setting. Got this Dragapult who was a menace ever since it was introduced in Generation 8. It's been played the most out of any of the Pokemon he has on his roster, and it's been making an impact. We see this one little tier 3 in the Keys to Success, that Dawn fan. It's been overshadowed in the game by its two more powerful counterparts in the Paradox forms that are not legal in the draft league yet, but it's still doing a lot in this league. Being able to get rid of terrain, having that priority ice shard, and just being a strong, bulky Pokemon that still packs a punch.
Definitely. And it doesn't show up here with the most broad tier 2, but I think the Kilowattrel all season has been very, very strong. And DD obviously a problem. And then there's always a place in my heart for Quaquaval, my starter Pokemon. Actually traded with the C Gull, gave him that Quaquaval for the Palafin. But obviously, very strong team, very scary. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And now let's take a look at their opponent for today. We've got Toronto Trick Roomers, coached by Curtis Moriarty Marks, finished as the overall third seed and the second seed in his division. Had a pretty strong season as well, only dropping a few games. One of those drop games being to you, but
Yes.
yeah, I mean, they've brought it back after an unfortunate loss streak right in the middle, but they're here in the semifinals, so they made it work.
Yeah, and besides the week 3 loss, that's obviously pretty significant. Otherwise, very strong season, and it's always scary when the team starts cooking right at the end. We see the week 9, week 10 obviously found success in the round 1 of the playoffs. So this is a team that's hot, and Chris definitely knows how to use his roster to its maximum. So should be a good matchup today.
Yeah, I mean, right at the end of the season, those rosters are locking, and everyone's like getting fully comfortable with their teams. And we can take a look at what brought Toronto all the way to the semifinals here.
And I mean, Gyarados, obviously a big problem. Most played, most KOs. I mean, just getting the ground Terra type makes it immune to its 4-time weakness. We've seen it use Earthquake and do some big time damage, not afraid to kill a teammate if it has to. And then also the Torkoal. We see the best KD. And in round 1 of the playoffs, we saw how dangerous that Torkoal is. If it can get behind a Shed Tail or in a Trick Room with the sun, it's definitely a problem. But what else sticks out to you, and what about the keys to success here?
Yeah, so we see a lot of setup potential with this team being able to safely set up behind that Cyclozar's Shed Tail, any of these Pokemon's own substitute. We've got redirection from that Jumpluff. We've got screens from that Grimmsnarl just to let Pokemon like this Gyarados, that Dragonite, the Gengar just fully set up and take over a game from there. We see Gyarados being a very strong Pokemon here, with 24 KOs for this team being brought in 14 games. And we see Torkoal having the best KD on this team with a 4.5. And a little menace over there in Tier 2 with the Glamora, a brand new Pokemon to this gen. Very high special attack stat, decent speed, and a whole bunch of different abilities that it can use that you have to guess what's coming. Is it going to be that toxic debris that just sets up the spikes on your side of the field? Is it going to be corrosion, so your steel typing, your steel Terra is not even going to be safe from a toxic?
Definitely. And so when you were prepping against TTR, what would you have changed about your prep? I was wondering when I watched you and TTR play. I didn't, I don't know how with your roster if there was much you could do, honestly. So looking back, what would you have done?
I want to say not uh like super indexing on one of the threats on this team, and instead trying to build more of a well-rounded roster, well-rounded like team of six to try and deal with everything the best it can, which leads to a little bit less power, but an overall safer play, I guess.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if West Texas Wingulls can do something here. But I mean, if we look at the head-to-head stats for these two in the season, TTR has been dominant. They've only dropped one game so far. Um, and I mean, looking at the team that TTR brought, we do see some repeats: the Grim Snarl, the Gyarados, the Jumpluff, and the Drowsy. And then obviously Dragonite, he was a later pickup. Last free agency week, he got him. Um, but then looking at WTW, the second team was pretty much randomly picked. So there's not much to take there. But what else do you see between these two matchups? And do you expect a similar team to be brought by Toronto?
Yeah, I mean, Toronto's been having success quite a bit with that Dragonite, which was, I believe, the latest addition to the league. And again, with that Gyarados being able to set up easily with that Jumpluff and Grimmsnarl, if you can't stop it, it will just take over your game. Um, I mean, we see a lot of diversity coming out of the West Texas drafts. His co-drafters seem to have picked a winning team in Week 10. Um, I mean, I don't know how similar these teams are gonna be for this final matchup, since these two teams have played each other so many times. They know each other's secrets. They know what kind of funky techs they're gonna run. Um, what do you want to see brought here this week?
You know, I would love to see the Gyarados. I didn't get my fix with the last game against you. Um, and the Gyarados, whenever I played TTR, the Gyarados was an absolute problem. It can go Moxie or Intimidate, whatever it's feeling. Um, and then the Jumpluff is always exciting. It's very versatile. It can go support, it can go damage. Um, And I'd like to see the Dragapult again. You did a pretty good job with the Dragapult last week or your last game, but I think the Dragapult has a lot of potential, especially with Terra typing. You can just get rid of the 4 times weakness, which is a big game changer. And then looking at West Texas, I would expect the Armarouge. We've seen it do absolute work all season long. So I would be stunned to see no Armarouge showing up in such a crucial matchup.
Yeah, I mean it's been a big player for the team, so might as well bring it to the semifinals, keep its hot streak going.
You would
So
hope so, but we shall see. Should we take a look at the teams brought?
yeah, let's see how accurate our predictions were.
Okay.
And I mean, you see that Armory's there. It's got its flying Terra, which I think is interesting. I don't know if I've seen it before, but getting rid of the weakness to ground, turning it into an immunity, because we've seen Gyarados likes to hit that Earthquake no matter what else is on the field with it.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's interesting. I think the majority of the season we've seen it do the grass, so you pick up the fire. You already have the fire immunity. Then it's really helps with its weaknesses, but the flying versus the earthquake, that's a really good point. So that makes sense, at least for this matchup. But what else are we seeing here?
Yeah, I mean, we've got, looking over at Toronto, we see the Fairy Terra on that Dragonite being the slower of the two dragons brought, having that immunity to dragon, or turning that weakness into an immunity, is very good for it. Losing its weakness to ice from like a Quackaball that wants to hit the ice spinner into it, losing that 4 times weakness. Gyarados showing up with the ground Terra, once again showing it's not afraid to hit Earthquake. Um, yeah, and I mean, we have the ground Terra on the Dragapult as well, which my prediction here is that's an offensive Terra Blast. Uh, don't know which one of these Pokemon wants to get hit by it, but it's certainly there.
It's an interesting choice because you don't lose the ice weakness, so you got to think it's trying to outspeed and go offensive. But looking at TTR's team, I don't see any glaring ground weaknesses besides the Gengar. Um, and then, other than that, the Doniphan Steel, you get rid of the ice weakness. Normal Stantler, okay, and then the Fairy Kilowattrel. Um, do you think that's also for an offensive Terra Blast here?
I think so. Just seeing Dragonite and Grimmsnarl in those like top tier of Pokemon, just being able to hit them for super effective damage is huge because of how bulky they are.
Definitely. And then who do you think both teams, what do you think the keys to getting the semifinals win? What do you think for West Texas? What do you think for TTR?
So for West Texas, I see Quackable, honestly, gonna be a major offensive threat here. It's because we see those couple of ground terras, so that water resistance is turning into a water weakness. And for Toronto, I think it's probably gonna have to be this Dragonite getting its immunity from the uh, from the Dragon Darts or Dragon Pulse, whichever way this Dragapult wants to go, and just being able to hit those Dragon Dances. We see no Psychic Terrain brought from West Texas, so there's really no way to prevent those extreme speeds from coming out from the Dragonite.
Yeah, this should be an interesting matchup. There's only one way to find out what happens.
Yeah. We ready to go to game?
I am ready at 105. Just tell me when.
All right.
Alrighty, you ready?
Uh, yes.
All right, three, two, one. Okay, we've got the C Gull POV for game one. See the Donphan, the Armor Rouge, Dragonite, Stoinks, Gyarados, Stonks with the Intimidate. Interesting. So no Moxie here.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be another one of those bulky Gyarados sets. Could be supportive even with Taunt and Thunder Wave, as Dragonite is known to carry, or Gyarados is known to carry.
We'll
The
see if there's any setup on the Dragon side over there. But the Intimidate coming out big for the Doniphan. Not so much the Armor Rouge, but Armor Rouge has got to be scared of that Gyarados. Ooh, the Ice Shard hits the Stoinks, and there is the taunt. Ice Spinner gets the Doniphan. No Will-O-Wisp after the taunt.
yeah,
Okay.
so it seems we've got some more supportive sets coming out. There's that Taunt. There's a Will-O-Wisp on the Armor Rouge. Uh, I want to say that's probably multi-scale Dragonite for how little damage it took from that 4 times effective ice shard.
Yeah. Okay. I think Chris is in a pretty good spot here. I mean, the taunt was big and the Doniphan less than half. And we get the Fairy Terra. No problem eating that. The Crunch doing 35. Ice Spinner picks up the Doniphan. The Heat Wave does pretty minimal against the 2 dragons here. Wow. Okay. Chris is in a good spot here, I think. And then here comes the Quaquaval.
Yeah, so I mean, it looks like Toronto's got their tempo going. This armor seems like it doesn't really want to be here. Can't really get its job done. The Terra comes out, so we know nothing else can change its type. While West Texas still has theirs, so who knows how this could change.
Yeah, but we see the Quaquaval Water Terra get rid of that weakness to flying. And the Grimmsnarl is out. The Wave Crash, big from the Quaquaval. There is the Thunder Wave. Heat Wave, ooh, not enough for the Grimmsnarl. Taunt is over, but there we see the Thunder Wave out of the Gyarados, so we're thinking a little more supportive here.
Yeah, I mean, very good read coming out of West Texas, being able to drop the Grimmsnarl so low. It's really only going to be able to get one more move off if he targets it this turn, but being able to get off that priority reflect or light screen, whatever it wants to set up here with its potential one turn on the field.
Yeah, that was a great read by West Texas. I mean, Grimmsnarl's hurting here. Oh, we get the flying Armarouge, the reflect. It eats the waterfall, and that'll be it for Grimmsnarl. And it Quaquaval Moxie. Okay, the flinch from the Armarouge, but now Quaquaval looking a little scary. Here comes Gengar.
Yeah, Krakoval's not as fast as it would like to be. I want to say this could be a choice band set with that wave crash doing so much damage.
Yeah.
The Armory's still not really getting uh, a whole bunch of tempo out of this game. It's taken the
Well,
Terra, but
an interesting Terra. We'll see. There's the taunt again, the protect, the wave crash protected. So it seems like West Texas knows that the Gyarados is here to support and trying to get rid of the Gengar here. Gonna
yeah,
have to do something.
very good protect coming out there.
The D Gleam almost enough, but not enough. The waterfall picks it up. Quaquaval activates the sash and goes down to the crash. Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, there's one piece sitting left on West Texas's side, and I don't know if it has the ability to take down 3 of these big threats from Toronto.
No, and quite the hole, and they got the reflect going on. Here comes the Dragapult. Will it be enough? You would think you got to get rid of the Gengar, but that's a tough spot for the Dragapult.
I mean, Dragon Darts could be good here.
There's the protect, good protect. Okay, no harm, no foul on that time.
Yeah, now the Gengar can't protect here. It's either got to swap or go down because it's not outspeeding this Dragapult.
There's the switch. The Shadow Ball, not quite enough. There is the Thunder Wave. Oh, we see the Lumberry, and the Reflect is off. Dragapult not giving up quite yet.
Yeah,
The Fairy out there, it's scary. That there is hope for the C Gull here. still not quite enough. The Thunder Wave,
Hmm.
Dragon Claw is enough. Okay, game 1 is in the books. Huh. So what were your big pieces of info that you picked up that game?
Yeah, so we see a special set coming out of the Dragapult. So we know the Grimmsnarl's less likely to hit that reflect and might go into the light screen instead. We see supportive Gyarados coming out, so taking a step back from its spot as the star of the team, um, and just sitting there being bulky, being very disruptive, getting flinches with that waterfall, thunder waves, taunts. And, we really didn't get to see a lot out of the Armourouge this game. It was just not allowed to do anything.
Nah, some pretty unfortunate flinches, but such is life in the game of Pokemon. Um, we also see the Lumberry on the Dragapult, which is it was a good move, I think. If you got the support Gyarados coming out, you gotta love it. But now no sash, it can get one shotted as we just saw.
Yeah, with how bulky that Dragonite is, it still packs a punch. Being able to tank a Shadow Ball from about 40% HP and still one-shotting in return.
So, what are you thinking are the keys to success here for West Texas?
Um, Honestly, maybe the Stantler could do something. Uh, just having like that Eviolite now for bulk, being able to get those paralysis procs with the stab body slam might be able to just turn this game. Kilowattrel might come out here, being able to get that tailwind up. Uh, Again, more paralysis proc options, strong stab moves.
And you got to wonder if the sash is not on the Dragapult, is it on the team? And if so, I like the odds that Kilowattrel is the donor of the sash.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you there. That's my bet for where it is at least.
And I'm still wondering what the item is on this Dragonite. I'm thinking it could be AV. We didn't see any protects, any non-damaging moves there, and it seems pretty bulky. Like that Shadow Ball, you would think it would do more, but not so much there. Um,
Yeah, I mean, AV is very likely on it. Uh, I mean, it just took those hits from the Dragapult like it was nothing.
yeah. Okay, well, if you're ready for game 2, I am ready to go.
All right, yeah, let's get into game 2.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Let's see if West Texas can pull off the game 2. We see the Gyarados again, the Dragonite again, the Stantler, and the Kilowattrel. There it is. Inner focus. Interesting. Okay.
Okay, so
Oh, competitive Kilowattrel. The Intimidate doesn't feel as good there.
yeah, Kilowattrel already just changing the tempo of this game, getting that +2 special attack.
And
Uh,
here is the Stantler as predicted. But what will we see it do? Because it can go supportive, but we shall see. The Terra Ground, there's Protect from Kilowattrel, the Reflect, Crunch Protect, Ice Spinner Protect. So got behind the Reflect and a great Protect from the Kilowattrel, eating both of the moves, no problem.
yeah, a lot of information gained there.
That was a big turn for West Texas, and they needed one. Now they're behind the reflect. 2 times special attack kilowattrel. But we shall see if it can survive. It probably has to pick up a kill here if it's gonna try and survive the double attacks. And we get the Fairy Terra. The Terra, whoa! Big Terra Blast there from the Kilowattrel and the Para. The Ice Spinner, not enough from the Dragonite. Neither is the Crunch. And competitive yet again with the drop. Wow. Okay, Kilowattrel, I see you. And the Para is huge too.
Yeah, Kilowattrel's getting so much mileage out of it, and it is very scary now. +4 special attack. And I think this might have confirmed our AV Dragonite suspicions, being able to tank that Fairy Terra Blast with no multi-scale.
Yeah, you would think so, or else something is off. But this Kilowattrel definitely potential to take over. We get the Grim Snarl swap, the Terra Blast almost picks it up. I Papa Berry, the Wild Charge, not much damage. Thunderwave misses. Wow, things are looking good for the C Gull here.
Oh, absolutely. But now we see a lot of HP on this Grimmsnarl still kicking. Uh, but I mean, that's still a very scary fairy Kilowattrel standing in front of it. I don't even know if light screen's enough to save it.
Now, and that was a good read by the C Gull, I'd say. Oh, we get the Terror. That's enough. The Terror Blast is enough. The Body Slam does some damage and a Para. Wow. These are some tough rolls for TTR, but he had some rolls last game. Wow. Kilowattrel in a great place here.
Paralysis coming back to bite him this game.
So you've got to wonder who TTR has in the back here, because with these two out, it doesn't. Oh wow! Extreme speed crit is enough to pick up the Kilowattrel. And just like that, there's hope for TTR. Wow, that was big.
Yeah, that crit was massive there on the last turn of Reflect. Just
Yeah.
and the Gyarados still standing. The Stantler's not putting out a lot of damage, but it's being as disruptive as it needs to be.
And here is the dancing duck himself, Waugh showing up. Could easily pick up 1 or 2 here, get its Moxie going. I gotta believe this Dragonite's AV switched him out, switch him back in, hit the extreme speed. We still haven't seen. Oh, there's another extreme speed. Quackball, Wave Crash. It's enough for the Dragonite, Moxie, and Reflect, and the Para. Wow.
Gyarados is still not allowed to move.
Now, here comes the Gengar. Ooh, you gotta like where the C Gull is here with the 1.5 Quackball. We know the Gengar has the Sash. This is gonna be a tough one for TTR. The Wave Crash gets the Sash. First Body disabled. And the D-Gleam is enough to pick it up. Stantler Wild Charge picks it up. And the Waterfall is enough. Just like that. Mono mono.
Yep.
But
Gyarados still being a problem even with 2% HP, paralysis in front of a screen.
here is the Armarouge. It is weak, but gotta think with the Para, it's gotta be speedier. There's the Psychic, and that'll pick it up. Wow. Okay.
And we've got a series on our hands.
Just like that, we have got a series. Obviously, some tough rolls there for TTR. I mean, we saw the Gyarados get pretty much nullified by the paras. But what did you see there that was the big game changer for West Texas?
So I saw exactly what I was predicting there. The Kilowattrel and the Stantler coming out. Um,
You called the para too. You said you did get the para from the body slam. What do you know?
yeah, I myself have lost to plenty of paraprocs off that Stantler, so I knew it was coming.
Well, it definitely worked. We're yet to see the Don fan come out, one of the keys to victory. So, will we see it next game?
Um, it I think it might come out, but we had a lot of success with what was here this turn or this game.
And I think Chris learned some valuable info there. The Kilowattrel is competitive, and it is a problem. You don't want to intimidate that bad boy. That's going to give you nothing but trouble.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, getting that extra defense drop off of the crunch, which was resisted by that fairy typing. Usually like to see that defense drop, not against the competitive Kilowattrel.
yeah, but it could have been the difference against that extreme speed. We'd have to run some calcs, but I still like the crit. I think either way, it was probably going down. Kilowattrel not exactly known for its bulkiness. Um, but I am ready for game 3 whenever you are.
Alright, let me get us back to the game. And yeah, let's get in a game.
Okay. We see the Grimmsnarl, the Dragonite. We see the Stantler and the Donphan. He's out and about. Um, I'm wondering if the competitive Kilowattrel scared away the Gyarados.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to open Intimidate against a Kilowattrel, so good adaptation here.
But Gyarados might just be paralyzed still from the last game and didn't want to show up.
Yeah,
But
boy is
interested to see
stuck
what the
on the
Donphan.
bench.
Oh, and there's the Gyarados Intimidate, just like that. Steel Terra, Ice Shard. Not much damage there. There's the Reflect. Okay. Double screens, but I think Chris had the better turn there. Ate the Ice Shard, got the double Intimidate against 2 attackers. So that's big.
Getting Terra out of the way means he knows exactly what type everything's gonna be.
There's the Armarouge shows up. Dragonite switch in, and the Para. Wow, and the Para. Okay. Both teams seem to have a similar game plan here. Para and hope for the best. Um, that's big for both of them. Two huge damage dealers on both sides, both paralyzed. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we're back to another stalemate game state. Uh, one carry each is paralyzed. Each team has a reflect up.
And this is making me wonder if both of them prepared their teams with the help of JCJ, because I'm seeing some shenanigans. There's the Don fan. The wild charge not doing much. Don fan gets the taunt. The para goes off. Wow. Um, I would have thought even behind reflect that the 4 times weakness wild charge would have done a little more than that. But
I mean, non-stab Stantler isn't really known for its damage. It's intimidated, and it
there's
is a
the
bulky Gyarados set.
ooh, Don fan does some damage with there is the earthquake, just like that. Didn't do too much behind that reflect. The reflect on both sides, turning this into a wet noodle fight, it seems.
Yeah, and if if I'm remembering right, I think the reflect actually lowers your own earthquake damage to your partner.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, Kilowattrel is out. Predicting the switch. The Gyarados Intimidate. Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Guard, not much. Spirit Break. Solid damage. And another. Wow. What a read from West Texas. The double competitive proc. Absolutely brutal.
Yeah, we're seeing no light clay on either of these screen setters. So we see
Mm-hmm.
both screens went away. Kilowattrel doesn't have its Fairy Terra available this game.
There's the Stantler, the light screen. It is enough to save it. The Crunch doing some damage there. But we get the light screen out. I think that saved the Grimmsnarl there. But Stantler standing strong. He's still in there. Can't sleep on my man.
Yeah, it is there to be an annoying little deer.
The Protect, the Reflect. Wow, another good Protect from West Texas, eating both the attacks, no problem. Getting behind that Reflect.
Yeah, unpunished screen setup.
So I not sleep on my man with the plan, the stand.
Still don't see that ground tear out of Gyarados, which makes me wonder if he's just not going to use it and might just let Gyarados go down to
Oh,
an electric type move.
oh, there is the ground Terra, the wild charge. It beats it. The waterfall, not quite enough. And here is the Dragonite.
That Intimidate and the Reflect saving Kilowattrel here. Don't know for how long with an E-speed on that Dragonite.
Will we see the Protect from the Kilowattrel here? There it is. The Protect. Body Slam. There's the Berry, Thunder Wave, Stantler with the Para, the Dragon Claw. I think Chris read the Protect there, had a pretty good plan.
No para coming out of the Stantler this time. We're not looking at.
There's a Para and a Para. Para for each side, light screen gone, Kilowattrel still out there.
Yeah, saved it from going down to that E-speed.
Got Protect available. It does not do it. There's the E-speed, the Crunch, not much damage. Body Slam picks it up. Stantler on the board. Reflect gone. And here's the Doniphan and the Gengar back at it.
Yeah, now this Gyarados really doesn't want to hit Earthquake.
Nah. It would be nice against the Steel Terra, but there's the Protect. Thunder Wave just going for the Para. And there's the Para. Wow. The Thunder Wave pays off big time.
Double para.
A tough scene for West Texas there. The double Para. But Gengar did use his Protect. But we get the Dark Pulse. Get the Crunch. Donphan still there. There's the light screen, the flinch. Gets behind the screen though. That's big. Stantler's just still hanging in there, man. Just throwing up screens like a madman.
Yeah, it is a menace. And some real unlucky turns for West Texas. The Ston fans trying to fight off flinches and paralysis.
It's definitely tough. There's the Armorooge switch. Dark Pulse not quite enough. The Waterfall not quite enough. High horsepower Sash. Okay.
Donphan is toughing it out.
He's doing all he can. He wants West Texas here. But the Armorooge obviously scared of both the Gyarados and the Gengar here. You've got to think that with all the paras, Gengar is the fastest one out here.
Believe it should be.
but West Texas still up by 1 Pokemon. If this Donphan can pull something off, it would be big. And it's got the Ice Shard. There's the Protect, Para, Waterfall, picks up the Donphan, Armarouge, Heat Wave, brings the Gyarados down, and here is Stantler again, intimidating. That's big.
Yeah, this waterfall damage out of the Gyarados likely negligible even into the weak Armarouge. But Gengar, no paralysis, fastest thing on the field, can still do some damage that Armarouge with no Terra available.
Yeah, it's got the screen, but will the screen be enough? Both teams down 2 Pokemon here. There's the Dark Pulse and the Waterfall. Eats them both. Para, Heat Wave, picks up the Gengar. Gyarados still kicking. I think Gyarados is going to need some Paras here. There's a Waterfall, Para, Psychic should pick it up. There it is. Okay.
Wild.
Wow. Even with the Paras, I mean, I think the Stantler was an absolute game changer there. It has the Intimidates and the screens that just let them somehow make it. I mean, what did you see there?
I saw a lot of paralysis.
Yeah.
Thunder waves, body slams. Pretty sure almost every Pokemon in that game was paralyzed at some point. It was a long game at that. But now we see up 2-1 match point for West Texas. What do you think we see different out of Toronto here?
I mean, it's tough that Gengar there was the only real special attacker, and obviously the Gengar can avoid the Paraprox from the body slams at least. But I think with the Intimidates coming out like that and the Paras getting behind the screens, maybe we'll see. I don't know if we'll see Drowsy, but maybe just some more switching to stop the Intimidate, because we saw how little that Gyarados Waterfall was doing at the end, and I think without those Intimidates, it could have turned that game around by itself.
Yeah, probably. I mean, Stantler didn't get to do anything for those last 2-3 turns of the game, being paralyzed every single time.
But I think this game, it's going to be interesting to see what the Terras are here, as I think it's a big game changer. I mean, if the Kilowattrel's out there and we get the Gyarados Intimidate, you got to imagine either a switch or the Ground Terra. But I don't think the Ground Terra on the Gyarados felt all that good. Gyarados seems to be there more for the supporting act than it does for the damage, just trying to get all those Paras. But
yeah, I mean, there is some credit to the to using Terra on the Gyarados, just being immune to all the electric type coming out of that Stantler Wild Charge and just this boosted Kilowattrel. It still gets to be disruptive on its own at the cost of not being able to use Terra on any of your other Pokemon.
well, there's only one way to find out.
Yep. We ready to go into game 4?
I'm ready when you are. All right, let's start it.
All right.
But with the Terra Gyarados, you lose the Terra Dragonite with the... Oh, but there it is, the Jumpluff and the Dragonite, Donphan, Armarouge. So the Jumpluff making an appearance here.
Yeah, I wonder if this is gonna be the jump bluff we've seen in the past, using that swords dance and cotton guard to pass baton pass those stats out to the Gyarados, which with just how the team is built, it would make more sense to put it on to the Dragonite, but
Here, out there. Ice Shard. Ooh. There's the Tailwind. And the Heat Wave is enough to pick it up. Jumpluff gets the Tailwind and hits the road.
yeah, not letting that jump bluff do any kind of shenanigans there. But Tailwind is pretty big for getting the speed control here if that Dragapult or Kilowattrel will decide to come back out.
No baton passes today, but there's the Stantler, the Intimidate. We see the Terra Dark Gengar, the Waterfall, doing pretty solid damage, and we get the flinch out of the Gyarados onto the Donphan. That's big.
Yeah, these Pokemon are so bulky though. Stantler eating that stab Dark Pulse now from the Gengar.
Yeah, that really 30%. Huh. Well, we see the Donphan switch out. Oh, but there goes the Gengar, the Ice Shard,
Ooh,
and Thunder Wave. Whoa! The Wild Charge, Stantler, man. Don't sleep on him.
yeah,
But a tough switch there for Chris, throwing in the 4 times weakness into the Ice Shard from the Donphan.
yeah, just very, very good reads coming out of West Texas this game. An ice move is not what Dragonite wants to swap into. Turns out Stantler, without being intimidated, can hit pretty hard.
Don't sleep on my man with the plan. But, oh, there's another Ice Shard. Eats it. Okay, Waterfall, some damage, Ice Spinner, not enough to pick it up, and the flinch. No more Tailwind now.
I'm very curious to see if this is King's Rock Gyarados, just how many times it's gotten a flinch out, since it can't be AV and it's not leftovers.
I think it has a berry on it.
Oh, right. Yeah, the Iapapa berry. Totally forgot about that.
Dream Speed, Waterfall, not enough. Stantler getting the screen out. Man, Stantler is not giving up, and the Eviolite making a huge difference. This thing is bulky.
Yeah, it wants to do all that it can before going down. And I think at 5% HP it might go down here. But getting that light screen up for the last major threat remaining with a heavy health bar.
Yeah, that's big. Still no one down for West Texas. We see the Armor Rouge Terra flying. Earthquake picks up the Stantler, but the Reed, the Fire, Heat Wave does some damage, but the Flying Terra saving Armor Rouge there, and that's what we were saying in the pregame. You pointed that out, and I think that was a great move. I mean, gotta think that might have been all she wrote for Armor Rouge, but now immune to the Earthquake, no problem.
Yeah, it just seems like West Texas is a step ahead with all these reads this game.
Yeah, Donphan back out there. Wouldn't be surprised to see an Ice Shard here.
Yeah,
Extreme Speed is enough to pick it up. Thunder Wave. Psychic picks up the Dragonite. Just like that, a 2-on-2 matchup with the Parad Armor Rouge and Kilowattrel making an appearance here.
yeah. Fortunately, no Terra available for the Kilowattrel to hit that Dark type Gengar. I mean, Armory has saved itself with that Flying Terra, which I believe was the correct play.
Yeah, I mean, if it went with grass, I don't see much fire to absorb on the opposing team.
Yeah.
But I think this is Kilowattrel and Gengar. One of them's gotta do something big here. But the C Gull in West Texas behind that screen, a huge, huge play by the Stantler before it kicked. Oh, okay. Thunderbolt and a para. Wow. The crunch doing some damage. Sludge bomb crit. Kilowattrel
Ooh.
there. And the heat wave is enough to pick up the Gengar, and it is disabled. Wow. One on one.
Double curse body procs was pretty insane, but
Wow. The psychic picks it up. Armarouge gets it done. And just like that, we will be seeing the Sea Gull and the West Texas Wingulls in the finals.
yeah, very, very close game. Very close series overall. Just comes down to a 3-1 victory for West Texas.
Yeah, and I think the 3-1 is misleading. I think pretty much all of those games could have gone either way. I think it came down. We got some rolls on both sides. I mean, we saw the pairs from the Stantler, but we saw the flinches off of the waterfall. But man, oh man, what a series! Who do you think was the big game changer there for West Texas?
It was that Stantler, 100%.
I
Just
would,
how disruptive it was, and it just refused to go down until it wanted to.
yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, Tier 4 man with the plan, Stantler, Eviolite, absolute problem. I mean, the screens, the paras, that wild charge in the last game. I mean, that is huge. Coming from your Tier 4, that's good team building right there, is what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, you know how much I love those low tiers, and I'm pretty sure everyone in the league, and I assume our viewers by this point, know I love those tier 3s and 4s. Love seeing what people can do with them when like every roster's not stacked as in ladder play, so we get to see some of these less used Pokemon used more and really get to shine like the Stantler did here.
Yeah, I mean, that's when you're prepping for a game, you're typically not prepping for the tier 4 to do that much work. But man, oh man, Stantler. I mean, the I think the Eviolite is such a game changer. It might need to be bumped up a tier after that performance.
Yeah, and getting that evolution out of Gen 8 from Legends Arceus really gave a lot of Pokemon some more power. Just being able to use Eviolite, like the Stantler we've seen, Primeape on Chapel Hill, because it got that new evolution. We saw Dunsparce in Jersey City. A lot of these like lesser used, lesser known Pokemon are really making an impact this season in the league, and I am here for it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it much more exciting instead of just throwing out the same six that everyone uses in the ladder. You get to see a wide variety. And just like that, maybe it'll start to make it in the meta once everyone sees this performance out of the Stantler. It could be the move.
Yeah.
But looking at this series, any last comments about West Texas TTR?
I mean, it's definitely a change. Only seeing one of these teams make it to the finals, and we'll see if Caleb and his team can make it to the uh, or can claim a fourth title in the draft league.
Yeah, I'm interested to see who his matchup is going to be here. But I mean, that was a great performance there. Um, and I mean, I'm just amazed at that Stantler. I mean, We were expecting Donovan, Kilowattrel, Armor Rouge to do the majority of the heavy lifting, but man, oh man, what a great series and a great season for TTR. I mean, those games definitely could have gone their way, but sometimes you get the rolls and sometimes you don't get the rolls, and that's Pokemon for you.
Really is. They definitely had a great season, and team building skills really showed in this series.
But West Texas moving on to the finals for a chance for the fourth title here. Very exciting.
There's a chance to see another one of those little blue stars up at the top of our screen here.
Yeah. But with that, I'm satisfied with the cast. Great series. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, thanks for sticking it out through this very long cast video. Thank you to you, Parker, for being my co-caster here. Thanks to our viewers at home for following the league this far. And we hope to see you for the last couple of games of our season.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Always a pleasure, Ali. Looking forward to the finals.
All right.